Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Eldlich deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck just got an amazing new extract monster, Fallen Angel of the Golden Land, which is such a powerful card. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go and get straight on into this. So first off, for the monsters, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Eldlich, the Golden Gucci Lord himself. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build, especially with the amount of Bistials running around. And since it is the only monster in the entire deck that I'm playing, this card is definitely going to be played at 3. This card has the ability that you can send this card in a spell or trap card from your hand to the graveyard to target a card on the field and send to the graveyard. And if this card is in your grave, you can send a spell or trap you control to the grave to add this card back to your hand, then special summon a zombie monster, which will be itself, from your hand, and if you do, until the end of the opponent's turn, it gains 1,000 tagging events and cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is such a powerful effect to be able to use, but it's the only monster we need because this card is just awesome. Super easy to get to, but again, with the amount of Bistials that are running around this format, I feel like 3 is awesome in this deck. You can play 2, but I absolutely love playing 3 copies of the original Eldlich the Golden Lord. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is amazing as a 1-of in the build to instantly get us for a copy of our field spell, Delta of Invitation, which is so powerful in this deck. We then play a single copy of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is great as a 1-of in the build to basically help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. We then play 2 copies of Cursed Eldland. Cursed Eldland is awesome in this build and just such a powerful card, as you cannot declare attacks except for zombie monsters, and you can only use each of the following effects card once per turn. As you can pay 8 life points to add an Eldlich monster or a Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard from the spell and trap card zone, you can actually send an Eldlich monster or a Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to the grave, which is a great effect to instantly get a card where you need it. We then play 3 copies of Delta of Invitation. This card is actually insane in Eldlich and definitely a 3-of in this build. This card is crazy powerful and can instantly get you a copy of Eldlich on your side of the field. As this card has the ability, when it's activated, you send a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is always going to be your copy of Eldlich the Golden Lord because it's the only monster you play in the entire deck. But this card also has the ability, if a zombie monster is on the field, you can special summon a Delta token that is a zombie dark level 5, 0 attack, and 0 defense points. And if a monster is added from the graveyard back to the hand while this card's in the graveyard, you can actually add this card from your graveyard back to your hand, which is a great ability to combine with your copy of Eldlich, because basically what you do with this card is you activate it, send your copy of Eldlich to the graveyard, use Eldlich's effect to send this card to the graveyard, recovering Eldlich back to your hand, special summon it out to your side of the field as a 3,500 attack point monster. Then once you do, your copy of Delta of Invitation on a separate chain will add itself back to your hand so you can use it all over again later, which is so powerful in this deck, basically making this card like a special summon for Eldlich for free because you get this card back to your hand, which is insane to be able to do. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Apopus, the Swamp Deity. This card is really good as a 1-of in the build, just an awesome card overall in the deck to be able to set to your side of the field with Silver Hat Rabbit because it gives us multiple negates on our side of the field and special summons itself as a trap monster, which is insane because during the main phase you can special summon this card as a normal monster. It's a Reptile Earth, level 6, 2,000 attack, 2,200 defense points, and this card is still a trap card. Then you can negate card effects that that are face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of other continuous traps you control until the end of the turn, which is a crazy powerful effect in this deck, just to give you multiple negates, but it's the card I actually use with Silhouette Hat Rabbit to actually put on my side of the field with the effect of Silhouette Hat Rabbit. We can play a single copy of Rivalry of Warlords. Rivalry is just really good in this deck overall, and it has the ability each player can only control one type of monster, and they have to send all other monsters that are face up that they control to the graveyard, so they only control one type, which is very easy for us to do in this deck, because we can just control zombies, and that's totally fine, as we have the best monster ever created, Eldlich the Golden Gucci Lord. We can play a single copy of Skill Drain. Skill Drain just instantly wins games. It basically just stops your opponent's monster effects and does nothing to us because our copies of Eldlich do not resolve on the field. So this card is just crazy powerful in this deck. We can play a single copy of Elixir of the Glorious Golden Land. This card is an amazing new support card, but you really only need a single copy of this card in the deck. You pay 800 life points to activate one of these effects to either special summon this card as a normal monster that's a zombie light, level 10 with a 1500 attack and 2800 defense, and it's still treated as a trap. Then, if you control a copy of Eldlich the Golden Lord, you return a monster from the field back to the hand, non-targeting by the way, which is crazy, or set one of your banished Golden Land or Elixir spell or traps, and you can only use this effect of this card once per turn, which is a crazy powerful effect of this card to have, but again, I feel like a single copy is all you need. I could definitely see playing 2 copies of this card, but it's still really good in the deck as a one-of. We then play 2 copies of Huakero. Huakero is great and is basically the DD Crow of the deck because this card special summons itself as a level 5 zombie on your side of the field that's a light with 1800 attack and 1500 defense, and then if you have a copy of Eldlich the Golden Lord on your side of the field, you can banish a card from either player's graveyard, and also during the end phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then set an Elixir spell or trap directly from your deck, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. We then play 3 copies of Conquistador. Conquistador is definitely a 3-of in the build because it actually helps us pop cards on the field, as this card special summons itself as a normal monster. It's a zombie light level 5 with 500 attack, 1800 defense, and if you have a copy of Eldlich Golden Lord, you can actually destroy a face-up card on the field, which is a great effect to help you pop cards on the field, also summoning a monster to your side of the field, and it also shares the exact same effects to your copy of Huakero, that during the end phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard to set an Elixir spell trap directly from your deck, but you only use one effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. We then play 3 copies of Scarlet Sanguine. Scarlet Sanguine is really good as a 3-of in the deck, and just an awesome card to instantly bring out your copy of Eldlich, because this card lets you special summon a zombie monster from the deck of the graveyard, but if you control no copies of Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon an Eldlich monster with this effect, and for the rest turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for zombies, which is totally fine. Also, you can banish this card from your graveyard to be able to set a Golden Land spell or trap directly from your deck, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn, and only once that turn. We then play 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute is just really good in this deck overall. So if you break your opponent's board, because it just destroys every monster on the field, and when we summon out Eldlich by its own effect, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is so cool to be able to combine it with your copy of Torrential Tribute. We then play 3 copies of Karma Cannon. Karma Cannon is great as a 3-of in the build, just to flip monsters face down and keep them down, because this card has the ability that you change any monster on the field, or as many monsters on the field as possible, to face down defense position. Then, if either player controls a face-up monster, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the graveyard, which is a crazy powerful effect against towers like boss monsters, because this card affects the player and not the monster, meaning it will actually out towers like boss monsters, which is insane. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is great just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. We then play 3 copies of Dominus Purge. Dominus Purge is great in this build as a 3-of because you can't just set this card to your side of the field, so you don't actually lock yourself out of dark, water, or fire, but you can use this card as an awesome hand trap just in case you need to. But it's an awesome, basically, Ash Blossom for the deck, making this card a definite 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment just says no to anything at the cost of half your life points, which is totally fine in this build, because as long as you haven't lost the game, you always have half to pay. So this card is definitely a 3-of in the build. We then also played 3 copies of Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is great as a 3-of in the build. It's this card is built when a monster would be special summoned or a monster effect is activated. Pay 15 or life points to negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. It's just a really powerful deck just to say no, just like your copies of Judgment. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Fallen Angel of the Golden Land. And definitely give us a like for this one, guys, because we're actually using the one that we pulled from Alliance Insight in our pack opening. And this card is crazy powerful. This card requires a copy of Eldlich Golden Lord plus a zombie monster to make this card, but you don't actually have to fusion summon it. This card is ability must either be fusion summoned or special summoned from your X deck by tributing a light zombie monster that you control while you have an Eldlich Golden Lord on the field or in the graveyard. And you can only special summon this card once per turn this way, and no matter which method you use, which is a great ability to instantly out your copies of Huakero or your copy of Conquistador off the field so you can use their graveyard abilities on the follow-up, while also getting a big boss monster on your side of the field. This card also has a great ability in that if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon an Eldlich monster from your deck, X deck, or your graveyard, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, which is a crazy powerful effects. We can finally summon with the greatest of ease our copies of Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. This card I've always wanted to actually be able to summon in this deck, and we can finally summon it off of Fallen Angel. This card is so good because you're never fusion summoning in the discard. You're always using the effect of Fallen Angel to summon this card out to your side of the field. And this card is ability, this card's name becomes Eldlich Golden Lord while it's on the field and cannot be destroyed by battle by card effects. And you can also treat a zombie monster to target a face-up monster opponent controls and take control of it, but it cannot attack or activate its effects this turn, which is totally fine. You're basically just getting monsters out of the way. And this card comes out at 3,800, and when you back it up with a bunch of trap cards, it's basically unbeatable, which is insane. So this card is definitely a 2-of in the build to summon off your copy of Fallen Angel. We play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is just really good in the build as a 1-of because it's so easy to summon because we play a lot of level 5 zombies in this deck. So it's very easy to summon out to your side of the field. So you can basically just spot remove card off the field. You don't have to synchro summon into, you can treat a light or dark monster as a tuner to be able to summon it, which is really good. And it's just an awesome card overall in the build. I'm playing a single copy of the Final Bringer of the End of Times. This card is a multiple pop and a walking into gate, which is just really good in this build. Plus, it's very easy to make in this deck, especially now that we have a new level 10 fusion monster that's super easy to summon in the form of Fallen Angel. We then play a single copy of Gustav Max. Gustav Max is great in this build just to do 2,000 points of burn damage to your opponent, just so you can end games. 1 copy of Zeus. Zeus is just really good at board wiping the field, just in case you need to. 1 copy of Typhon. Typhon is awesome in this build to just help you bounce cards off the field, and use this card as a skill drain for 3,000 or higher attack point monsters. Plus, it's super easy to summon this deck, and an awesome card to be able to summon out and then back it up with a bunch of trap cards on the field. We then play 2 copies of Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit is awesome in the build because it actually helps you set your trap monsters to your side of the field. When you activate one of your trap monsters, it actually helps you pop a spell or trap in the field. Plus, it can't be destroyed by battle, which is very difficult for your opponent to deal with this card. I'm playing a single copy of SP. SP is awesome in this deck, just to help you basically use this card as a double interruption. Just one of those powerful extract monsters ever created. I'm playing a single copy of Flying Mary. Flying Mary is great in this build, and just an awesome card overall to help you just use the ability to target 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster that's banished in the graveyard and place this card in your spell and trap card zone as a face-up continuous spell if you do special summon that monster, helping you recover your copies of your banished Eldlich, which is just amazing for this card to do. Also, with this card is a continuous spell, you can actually target a level 5 or higher zombie monster that you control and destroy a monster opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that monster, which is usually 2,500 with your copy of Eldlich, which is great. We then also played 2 copies of Link Spider. Link Spider is just really good overall in the build, just in case you need 2 extra copies of a card to out one of your normal monsters all at the field, and just awesome in this deck. And I just realized the amount of QCRs we actually have in this X deck, which is insane, and it's definitely blinged out for Eldlich, the Golden Gucci Lord. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. If you guys have never played an Eldlich deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's one of my favorite decks to be able to play, especially now that we have Fallen Angel, which is just such a cool card. It's just an awesome deck to be able to play. Just play just an insane amount of like trap cards, just to control the board to help you go in for game. So that's gonna do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.